Alright, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to use Periscope. So it's going to be the product demo. Um, and the way how I'm doing this is I'm using an app on iOS, which is called QuickTime. And this is actually exactly what you would see if you were if you were using a smartphone to look at Periscope. So this is what you open it up to see. It's just North and South America right now, and it's showing a bunch of different dots, which are indicating with the number how many people are scoping in that particular area. And as you zoom in, it gets more specific to different areas. So 15 in Houston and maybe 10 in Atlanta. None in New York right now, but and that's just they're changing because of because of the way that I'm moving around and zooming in and out. But it gets more specific as you zoom in and out. And that's if you want to watch a scope. And typically, I think in business, you typically wouldn't be watching scopes unless you're maybe watching a product review of your product, or possibly, typically if you're watching a scope in business, it would be more like a private deal where they could actually go here and start cast and tap on that little lock, which is next to the location symbol, and that would give them the ability to broadcast privately. Well, let's look at that some more. So it looks like when you want to actually broadcast, it says, if you can see up at the top, it says, "What are you seeing now?" And you can barely see it, and that's where you would type your title. So maybe like Periscope or something. That's where you type your title. There's four icons. There's one for locking. So that decides the privacy of the broadcast, and then there's one for the one. So there's location, and then there's locking for like a lock for privacy, so who can see it, and then there's like a little chat down there, and that's third to the right, and that's controlling the chat, who can chat or if anyone can chat and send you messages. And then the one all the way to the right is cool. That's for Twitter, so you can automatically tweet this. And it'll be this crazy tweet that's like live and all caps, and it'll say Nick on Periscope, and it's really cool. And it'll just do that for you, and it'll actually show the video. It'll record the video for you and post it to Twitter. So that's broadcasting, and this is viewing. If we go over here to the bottom right, this is also really cool. These are people on Periscope. People up here, and you can, these are all, so they're confirmed. It's just like Twitter with the check mark if they're confirmed. So there's UFC. I actually want to follow that. That's pretty cool. I'll actually follow them right now. All just different people. Some people, it's kind of like Vine. They're like getting Periscope famous or Vine famous, and they're not actually, well, they are famous on here, but they're not famous like like a movie star or something. But they've gained followers on here. 2,000 followers, 30,000 followers, and he's actually yeah, he's a pastor, so he's got a lot of followers. But it's just this is just a cool way to find cool you know and it doesn't even have to be just interesting things. It could be things that are useful for you, especially as a business. You could be following the competition if they're on here. So this is a good way to explore and get really get a lot of use out of this app. This is kind of like a home base. So now that I'm following UFC, that's the only person I'm following. So and we're all the way down to the left on the TV. Um, and what we're looking at here is kind of like, so there's some feature stuff at the top, and if you were following, if you were following a bunch of people, it says up at the top, it says no one you were following is live. So if I had anyone who was live, I could go here and I could check this periodically and see, all right, they're broadcasting live. I really want to see that. I want to talk to them. I want to send them some messages. So this is a good way to see what's going on live, especially if you're following people. That's basically the only way to know, unless you can set notifications and things like that. So, for the last bit of this little demo, I want to actually, well, we'll talk about some more business-related things, but I just want to show, a scope. I want to show one from somewhere interesting. So I'm just going to look through here and see if I can A lot of times I like to the ones in Australia are so much different than the ones around in other countries, and it's easier. I mean, obviously, any of the non-English speaking countries are going to be different, um, but the ones in Australia are really interesting. I find, and especially since they speak English, it's a little bit easier. Um, but it's kind of late over there, so those might not be good. So I'm just gonna I'll just pick a random one, and we'll just see. As long I just want to find one that's appropriate and kind of relevant. So we'll let those load. These out west, California, there's a ton. This Periscope kind of really took off in California with celebrities. The similarity between Periscope and Twitter is, as far as celebrities go, it's basically the same thing. It's just, a lot of celebrities are narcissistic, and but so we'll just tap on LA. There's 42 LA, so 42. Let's see if we can find something kind of relevant here. Some singing, a ton of different types of people on here. That's some Arabic, I believe, is there. This guy's on break. A lot of artists and singers on here. Ask Me Anything. That's actually a good one. Ask Me Anything is actually a really good one. Obviously, it's not super relevant to business, but this is a good one to show. Just as so, this guy's. Uh, So he's only got 5 followers right now. So this you can see who is watching right now. You can see a little bit about him. There's his name. You can look at this picture, his info, see who's following him. So this app is super user friendly, which is something that I am really drawn towards. It's just the how user friendly it is kind of it's kind of uncommon to be able to open up an app like this and it just clicks for everyone basically, and most people who somewhat tech savvy can figure this out pretty quickly. It's not like Twitter or Instagram where it can be kind of confusing with all the filters and all that sort of thing. It's just you open it, you tap a number, and you start watching, or you open it and you name your scope and you start broadcasting. So that's one thing I've touched on before. That's really important. It's just how easy it is to use this app, and I think that's one of the reasons that it's taking off so much. And I think that's something that it's really important. Which brings me to another point about business is this app is taking off so much that I really think it's really important for any business to jump onto this thing. I mean, it's only going up from here. It's already owned by Twitter, so it's not just going to fade away. Twitter is not going to let that happen, and it's becoming more and more relevant. I haven't seen numbers like this. I go on this all the time, and I haven't seen this amount of people on here. Um, it's been this is the most amount of people I've seen on here at one time. So this thing's really taken off, and I think it's really important for businesses to really jump on this, and all the most successful companies have jumped on the trendy, the quick, the new technological advances. So with that, I'm going to end this demo, and enjoy.